Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to HeCsUsAll channel. Tonight I have something big for you guys. I'm actually pretty surprised that I haven't seen anybody calling this out for what it is. The only channels I'm seeing, well, it is actually being called out now, but it's still currently being used. What this is a AI algorithm that runs people's names, right? And it will select people who have past criminal histories, even if they're 10 or more years older, right? Or it selects people who are associated with people who have some kind of criminal history. Now, at first, I thought this was only happening in Pasco County, Florida. Apparently, that's just where cops, took it above and beyond with the aggression. This is happening all over the US. The deeper and deeper I dug into this, it was like this endless rabbit hole. I have some videos for us to watch first, just so you can all get an understanding of what's going on. They're being called out, they're being sued. The sheriff thinks he's going to win. The sheriff is still the sheriff. This has been going on for 5 years. And I have a statement from the smart policing, the AI that they use. And within that, you can find all kinds of information. And it also gives you a map and shows you where else on the country in the country that they're using this smart policing. They have 2 stations in my state using it. So it's spreading everywhere and nobody's talking about it. I believe the cops with Pasco County are, like I said, they're just taking it above and beyond with the power trip on it and how they're handling it. I'm going to start you guys off from the beginning, because years ago, lawsuits were already starting between officers within Pasco County, against each other because of the way they treated each other. And one officer wanted to keep his canine dog. It was basically like high school bullying that was going on within the police station itself, or the sheriff's office, right? So I'm going to start you guys with the beginning here. just a couple small clips of what was going on before it started being targeted on the citizens. So, all right. So these first two videos, let's fix this. These first two videos are from these channels. I can remove myself for a second. All the channels I use are always going to be linked below after the stream.
Uncovering what could be a major lawsuit against the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, we can report that at least 20 people have come forward with allegations of misconduct. The suit names Sheriff Chris Nocco and several of his top staffers, accusing them of a pattern of racketeering within the sheriff's office.
See, now this is what happened first, accusing them with racketeering within the own office. This was officer against officer. This was before all the citizen stuff happened. So really, this officer Nocco or whatever, he's still the sheriff. He's still in charge. He's on a massive power trip. Just listen to this.
We just spoke with the attorney filing the lawsuit.
The sheriff won't speak to his employees. You can't have a meeting. People ask for a meeting and they get terminated. They ask for a meeting, try and explain the corruption that takes place, and he does not allow them to do that. And I think that he needs to step aside until these criminal allegations are investigated.
Our IT.
So basically, if an officer had a problem with what was going on, right, and they asked for a meeting, they would just immediately be terminated.
Reached out to.
In my opinion, here, I just want to state this because this all happened right before this AI thing that started printing out names, and we'll get more into that as we move on. But this all happened right before that. I believe I can't state this as fact, but I believe that officers within the station weren't comfortable with this new algorithm just picking random people to go harass, because that's where this is going to lead into. These police officers had a list of names that an AI printed out, and they would go to these people's family members' houses multiple times a day, all hours of the day and night, banging on the windows, just harassing these people. And the officers are caught on their body cam stating that they just want to try to get these people to move out of the county. And they go as far as to harass people who know the people who are printed on this list made by an AI algorithm. It's absolutely insane. But what I'm showing you now is before all that. So this is officer against officer suing that's going on before all of this other stuff is about to break down. But this all happens within the same time period.
To the sheriff's office, which gave us this statement. It reads in part, our response in court will answer all questions. And once the facts come out in court, we are confident these allegations will be proven false.
Welcome back. Wild accusations tonight against a local sheriff and his high-ranking commanders.
A federal civil lawsuit claims that Pasco Sheriff Chris Nocco and department leaders abused their power, harassing and retaliating against employees. 8 on Your Side investigative reporter Masa Saidi has been digging into the lawsuit. She joins us now after speaking with one of the alleged victims, a deputy.
And Stacey, Josh, when this lawsuit was first filed, just 3 people were making these claims. Tonight, 20 former employees say they have been abused, intimidated, or pushed out.
These are just 20 former employees abused, whatever. They were pushed out, right? I keep hitting the wrong button. 20 people. And this is when they were implementing this new AI algorithm that was going to just give you random people to go stalk and harass. So truly, I feel that some officers spoke against this, and Mr. Sheriff Nocco here was so for it that anybody who had anything to say, they were out. And it goes as far as to one of the police dogs, and it's pretty sick. It's disturbing.
Some of the men and women named in a new civil lawsuit filed in federal court. The 427-page document states that Pasco Sheriff Chris Nocco and department leaders are, quote, intoxicated with power and will physically abuse, intimidate, incarcerate in order to ensure absolute control and a reign of terror.
And incarcerate. I'm going to show you another short clip about how they treat their inmates in Pasco County.
It's a shocking allegation against a sheriff beloved by many.
Right to know. It's your Pasco Sheriff's Office. You have the right to know what we are doing.
Tonight, the department only saying they've successfully defended previous lawsuits by some of the same parties. They're confident the allegations will be proven false in court.
They ruined my name, so I couldn't go get a job someplace else. It doesn't surprise me that they do it to other people.
One of the 20 former employees who brought this suit speaking to Aid on Your Side. The story of former Corporal Cliff Baltzer starts with a love for his dog. After years on the job, Baltzer says his new boss started to target him. They said his canine Tundra was performing poorly. When he disagreed, there was an investigation and an alleged threat.
Gave him a hard time with this investigation that he would put my dog down and he could have that blamed on me in social media.
Baltzer says he believes
That's blackmail. Like 100%, that's blackmail. I'm going to put your dog down and then I'm going to blame it all on you on social media. That's insane. 100% insane. But that is this officer that implemented this AI. This has nothing to do with the AI. This is just how they treat each other.
Supervisor would follow through. That's when he started asking about buying Tundra.
In order to buy the dog, you essentially had to resign, you're saying?
Yes.
Tonight, others also saying they were wrongfully let go or pushed out. A training supervisor claims he was fired for blowing the whistle on gender discrimination. Another manager lost his job last year. He says a woman posted a Pasco deputy's old mugshot on Facebook. Supervisors allegedly instructed him to look up and find any information he could on the woman and her family, and then to target them. He claims he refused and was fired.
And that man was a former FBI agent. Now we are just starting to dig into this lawsuit and speak with all of the parties involved. We're going to stay on top of this story. And if you would like, you can read the full lawsuit for yourself on our website and app.
Wow, you have a lot to get through there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right.
Okay. So he told another officer to look up and find any information he could and target the family and friends, right? So this isn't even like conspiracy. This isn't a maybe. I'm just so shocked that people aren't like talking about this at all. It's insane. Now I'm going to just quickly show you, cuz this happened right around the same time that all these officers started suing each other. This is how they treat their inmates. Now keep in mind, they're arresting innocent people for no reason. They're targeting people and harassing them based on past criminal records or even just based on the criminal records of the people you hang out with, your associates, right? So then they target you, they find any reason to arrest you, they arrest you. You want to know where they're going to send you? They're going to send you to Pasco County Jail. Well, this is how they treat their inmates at Pasco County Jail.
Thanks for that.
She was supposed to be treating Pasco inmates for serious illnesses. A nurse at a local jail is accused of exposing them to potentially deadly viruses. Attorneys for the inmates have announced a class action lawsuit, and Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer has the allegations.
This is an absolute nightmare that shocks the conscience.
That's how attorneys for 5 Pasco County inmates describe a situation inside the jail that they say could have exposed their clients to deadly diseases.
This was a complete lack of care for some of the most vulnerable members of our society who were in Pasco County's custody.
During a news conference announcing a class action lawsuit, the inmates' lawyers said their claims center around one nurse who they say would reuse syringes while treating diabetic inmates.
Diabetics who rely on insulin to survive shouldn't have to fear that the medicine they take to save their lives might be ending it.
The lawsuit was filed against WellPath, a medical company contracted by the sheriff's office to work in the jail. According to court documents, the nurse would inject an inmate with insulin. If that person needed more, she would then use that same needle to draw up the insulin from a new multi-dose vial. We're told she would then turn around and use insulin from that same potentially contaminated vial in a new patient. Attorneys say this was done with an HIV positive patient, meaning the virus could have been spread to other inmates.
Dirty needles, dirty vials.
Could have been spread to other inmates. I don't think that that's a matter of it could have been spread to other. If you take a dirty needle with HIV positive blood on it and stick it into a vial that you're going to then reuse on many, 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 many other inmates, any clean needle you stick into that same vial and then inject into the patient is going to have HIV positive blood, like, fragments in it. That absolutely contaminated the whole bottle. And they just brush this off as, well, we haven't found any issues yet. They're inmates. Do you think they're going to look that hardly into it? Because I don't think they're going to look that hard into it. It's not that big of a deal. They're all in jail anyway. But the problem with that is they're putting innocent people in jail who've done absolutely nothing wrong. I have to give you guys like a trigger warning right now because what I'm about to show you is pretty graphic. This is the families that have been harassed and targeted by the Pasco County Police. And again, when we're done watching these videos, I'm going to pull up the smart policing that they use, their site. I'm going to pull it up, and then I'm going to pull up the map of every county that's using this. It is spread across the whole U.S. The center of the U.S., a few here and there, but the coasts, we're covered with them. Covered with them. So, but Pasco County, Florida, if they could take it this far, as far as what I'm about to show you, they can all take it this far. This is literally Minority Report. This is that movie. Like, you get arrested before you even commit a crime. Because why? Because an AI ran some numbers and said you were likely to do so. Never committed said crime, but hey, the AI, the all-knowing AI, right, said you were gonna. I've said it before. I truly believe that AI has set humans up so much that they could lead us right to slaughter. Like everyone using their Google Maps. I've seen videos of people using their Google Maps and driving out into the middle of nowhere, right? Getting pulled over by a cop. You're not even on a road. What are you doing? Oh, the map told me to go there. AI's got a plan, and they started it a long time ago. And this type of stuff, it just shows how easy it's going to be for AI to do what it's got to do when the time comes to exterminate. Now, and that's when God steps in. But you guys, you're going to be shocked at these next couple videos. And then, like I said, I want to show you some of the website. I'll link those websites below so you guys can go because there's a lot to read there. And check it all out for yourself. All right, number 2 here. Here we go. Now, this is the channel that I got this video from. These are the people who are getting involved right now. So something is going on. But like I said, he is still the sheriff.
Pick up that kid.
Ooh,
Pick up the kid.
hold on.
Pick up
I'll
the
rewind
kid.
it.
Bro, she's holding on to the baby.
There we go. Ready? There we go. So there's the channel. Go subscribe.
I'll go to jail too. Pick up that kid. Pick up the kid. Pick up the kid. Bro, she's holding on to the baby. Yeah, so let go.
Will you call him?
Go ahead and call. Take the baby, please. You're under arrest, Sammy. Stop resisting. Come back me up. Stop resisting.
Using a secret point system, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. So, secret point system, AI, printing out names. Anybody can be on it.
On September 18th, 2018, Pasco County, Florida resident Tammy Hallman was forced.
Now, you heard that date, right? 2018. This has been going on for years down there. And it's still going on because the sheriff's office fights these lawsuits. They win some, they lose some, but this AI is still running.
Removed from her home after years of being harassed by the Pasco County Sheriff's Office.
It all started when my son got in trouble. The police just started coming to our house multiple times a day harassing us, and just, it was ridiculous to the point where nobody wanted to even be at their own home. It was a very scary feeling. It was really uneasy. It interrupted our lives.
If I remember correctly, her son getting in a little bit of trouble, he got in a little bit of trouble for weed. And then they started harassing him like crazy. And then he started getting in more and more trouble. I mean, if the police are constantly on you, like it's retroactive in a way because they're creating criminals by treating people like criminals. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is going to get so intense. And I just mind boggled that this isn't spread across YouTube. Like, why aren't more of us talking about this? This is running rampant across the US now, and it's going to come to a hometown near you.
I would be sitting in jail, worried about my kids, wondering what I did to deserve this. I had no understanding about anything other than that. The truth is that the first arrest of my son began the enormous amount of police activity at my home for no reason. And I'm going to call it harassment because that's what they called it.
Come on, man. Can you come talk to us? Why? You have warrants? Then why won't you come talk to us?
See, you hear that there? Like, what is that? Will you come talk to us? No. Why? Because I don't have to. You're here again for the 5th time today, and I have no reason to want to speak to you. I don't have to speak to you. I've done nothing wrong. You got warrants? No. Then why won't you come talk to us? If I don't have warrants, you don't have to talk to me, right? These police officers, their body cams caught what they were saying to each other. One time they're laughing about, oh, we made the mom cry. Ha 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 ha. Like, high school bullying is like what I see out of it, but high school bullying with a badge and a gun. And they like to escalate the situations. These people, all of these people that were being harassed remained relatively calm. They all did very well. But I can see a situation like this escalating because cops showing up at your house 10, 15, 20 times a day, banging on your windows, banging on your doors, speaking to your children when you're not home, looking through all the windows of your house and stuff. That could drive someone to a point that they do something stupid. Then what? The cop's going to pull out his, I'm not going to go any further than that. But this is retroactive. 100%.
Yeah, we're just looking for, is Delana here? Hello, is Bobby here? Tyler, open the door, man. We're just coming to check up on you because I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm Corporal O'Hara. I'm the one who spoke to you on the phone. Yeah.
Anthony here? No, he's not. He's not here? Is he hanging out with some friends?
In 2011, 35-year-old Chris Nacco.
So I took myself off screen there for a second, just so you guys, I'm going to do that so you guys can read everything. But this is what they would do. They would go house to house to house, and then they would even go to the friends' houses of these people multiple times a day. It was like they were creating this, like, of regular people, this like mafia syndicate of people on top and down below, like associates of associates. So this one's an associate, and then this AI runs a bunch of numbers and says there's a percent chance that this one's going to do that, this one's going to do that. And then they're going and harassing and targeting these people. And it's okay. Do you see where we're leading? Like, this is leading. It's going places. It's all over the US now. I thought when I was like, I'm making this video. This is crazy. Nobody knows about this. How can nobody know about this? Right? Like, I needed to make this video. Absolutely. And then I always do my research, and I started digging. And the deeper and deeper I dug, the worse it got. They were printing up not only for just regular citizens, but they were printing up lists and names of children in school who were likely to become criminals because of bad grades or because of home situation. There's so much data that goes into this that I don't even understand how it's legal for them to obtain that kind of data. This is insane, and nobody's talking about it. And it's not just in Pasco County. The only reason this algorithm being used got caught is because Pasco County Sheriff has his head so far up his ass that he thinks he's almighty and all powerful, so he drew attention to it. If it wasn't for this sheriff causing his employees to go out and harass and target people so intensely the way he did, we would have never known that this type of algorithm was running. Not until another sheriff's office took the power too far. But this has been going on for years.
Was appointed sheriff of Pasco County. Sheriff Nacco set out to reimagine policing in Pasco County by adopting a controversial model of policing called predictive policing that was designed to stop crime before it even happened.
Messing around with an aggressive sheriff, Sheriff Nacco is not playing these games.
One of Nacco's squads, known as the Strategic Targeted Area Response Team, set out into their community with various lists of names, harassing residents they suspected might commit unspecified future crimes, along with their family members.
When I was on my way to jail, the officer began to tell me that if they're coming out to your house, they're going to get you with something. Either it's a code violation, they're going to take you to jail, they'll get you for a seatbelt violation, whatever it is, they will come after you and they will enforce.
That's intimidation, no? Like, that is police intimidation. You can't do that. You can't be like, listen, if you don't do A, B, and C, then I'm going to get you for anything and everything I possibly can. That is a threat. And this is what they were doing to hundreds of families within the county. And their goal was to intimidate them so badly that they would just move out of the county. But what did they think? The people that would move in the county wouldn't have the same kinds of brush ups with the law here and there? You know, like, and again, not everybody they're targeting had any police contact or ever had been arrested. They were just associated with people that I know plenty of people that have been arrested. So it's not, this will target anybody. Nobody's safe.
Of course, there's zero tolerance policy and any means possible.
Right. So here's the policy in the agency. I'll explain it to you so it makes sense. If people have themselves or their people that live in the house are committing crimes and victimizing the community, then the direction we receive from our sheriff's office from the top down is to go out there and every single violation that person commits to enforce it upon them.
This list uses a point system based on interest.
You heard that, right? You heard that, right? We are told, comes down from up top, that if we find anything wrong we can, any code enforcement, anything at all, and we will enforce it. Our bosses told us to harass you and to arrest you. Find any reason possible to arrest you. And then they go to Pasco County Jail where they can be injected with HIV positive needles. Nice, right?
Interactions with the law. The points are tallied up and the sheriff's office is left with their list of citizens to target.
Yeah, they have like a list of people that used to get in trouble but don't anymore, and we just make sure everybody's doing good.
All right. You staying out of trouble? When was the last time you were in trouble?
Citizens are given points for offenses or even for being suspected of an offense. Points are also given for missed court dates, probation violations, and appearing in 5 or more police reports, even if they were only listed as a witness or a victim. A former Pasco County deputy was ordered to randomly show up to the homes with the...
Boom. Even if they were only a witness or a victim, but they showed up in 5 police reports. So you saw a car accident, you happened to be standing there when somebody got in a fight. You had to call the police yourself because your neighbor was making too much noise. I don't know. Anything could put you in 5 police reports where you're not in actually any kind of trouble, right? So that puts you on the list. This list will target everybody at one point or another. And like I said, it's spreading like wildfire. It is not only in Pasco County. They're the only ones that got in trouble for using it. I wouldn't say got caught using it. Obviously, somebody approved this, but they took it too far. But if they took it too far, everyone will take it too far.
Sole purpose of making the family uncomfortable, sometimes showing up as many as 5 times in one day. They would even go as far as sitting outside the home overnight.
Tell him we know he's there.
They're running the siren in the neighborhood.
Usually when they were frequenting us, it was usually about anywhere from once a day to multiple times a day. There may be a break where they weren't there for a few days and then would come back.
Some families were harassed more than others.
What's up? Is Donnie here? Is Donnie home? Hey, Donnie home?
I'm looking for Donnie.
Is Donnie around? We're looking for Donnie. You know that, right?
Hey, morning, Donnie. How you doing?
They were always targeting my family.
You see that, right?
Otherwise, they wouldn't have been here several times a day or multiple times a week. We were definitely being targeted. Absolutely, definitely.
They were coming, I mean, at least every day and multiple times a day. When you start gathering, you know, what my kids would tell me when they were there, when I would see them there. And these kids are scared. All they've seen is these guys take their brother to jail, their dad to jail. They've yelled at their mother that they're going to take her to jail. And now they're yelling at them. Come to the door. Talk to us.
They did take
Whenever
her to
we
jail.
run out trying to bring back dinner or something, the kids are getting bangs on the door. And these officers are wanting to talk to my kids, too. And my kids don't know any more than we do. Every single time I try to give a little bit to you guys, I end up with this. And it's even 10 times worse than it started out as.
Many times when the police would come to our house, they were very disrespectful. They didn't care who we were. They looked at us as if we're not an officer, then we're not one of them.
No, I'm going to tell you guys something. What I'm showing you right now is the softer version of what has been going on in Pasco County, Florida. I kind of wanted to ease into it. When I tell you the next one's a bit more graphic, I mean it. It's a bit more graphic. There is a lot of police force, and I'm very surprised that all of these people remained as calm as they did. Like, if they came across someone with mental illness per se, they might react a little bit differently to that kind of force over absolutely nothing. Like they know they did nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden there's 6 cops around you trying to arrest you for nothing. This is something that's going to explode without a shadow of a doubt. This is a ticking time bomb.
Man, listen, we don't have time for your game. You're an idiot. You're inside of a house. How are you being detained, moron?
Yeah, you're fat and ugly. Shut the hell up.
Hey, I want to.
These are the cops, okay? I want you to listen to all this because these are the cops conversating with each other.
There's something up with this.
So with what?
Whatever you saw, which is police talk where they're a bunch of assholes. Hey, last time we made her cry. Yeah.
My neighborhood
right?
was already a very, very safe neighborhood. That's why we moved there. Inevitably, the only police activity was when they were coming to arrest somebody at my home. Nothing was ever stolen from my vehicles. Nothing was ever burgled at my home, except if you count the sheriff's department.
So in other words, what this man is saying is he never invited the police to his house, ever. But for some reason, they were always there. That's what he's saying. My house has never been robbed, and nobody's ever come here and done anything. He's stating, without stating, I've never called them, but they were always here. Does that seem okay? Does that seem normal? Does that seem right? Because that seems like a little bit of testing for, I don't know, I'm not going to say the word because we're going to keep this going.
Department. They're the ones that were at my house. They're the ones that were taking things that didn't belong to them. They were the ones entering without a warrant.
It's the police that I have to worry about. And it's the same for my kids too. And it shouldn't be that way. They're the ones that we should be able to call when we need help, not be fearful of.
The only thing they were doing was taking me to jail or exploiting me by taking my money from me.
And the thing is, he's the dad. Their son was arrested for a little bit of weed years prior to this now. He's the dad, and he's talking about how they're extorting money out of him and they're taking him to jail. This man never broke the law. He never did anything wrong. He was targeted because his name was printed out from some AI algorithm. Let's make a freaking network of mafioso type people out of regular people and implement it into real life. It's insanity. And I wish so badly other people would pick up on this one.
Should I start writing the citation?
Huh?
Should I start writing the citation?
His dad's in there.
I'll write it to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
One day they were here, they gave me, I believe the day that they were here, it was for numbers on my mailbox. I didn't have any numbers.
Ridiculous
on the mailbox,
crap.
So they gave me a citation.
The first citation violation I received was for overgrown grass.
The following day, they came back.
They came with a little ruler, right? I watched a whole documentary on these people. They came with a ruler and they measured the blades of his grass, and his grass was like an inch too long. Tell me this is normal. Somebody argue that this is normal and that this is okay, and this is just the society we live in now. Because maybe I'm in another reality. I don't know. Maybe things changed.
For another citation for chickens that I had in my yard.
The next one I received was for my double jet ski trailer being parked on the opposite side of my 5x8 enclosed trailer.
This one is for having the boats trailers. They have to be on one side of the property. You can't have them on one on each side of the property.
They were trying to claim that there was a snake crawling into my garage and somehow that's a violation. Numbers not being visible on the front of my house.
This one here is the address. That light is covering up that address.
The reality was these guys were taking a ruler and measuring dandelion.
And this one is for overgrown. The grass underneath and on the side and the back of the house is over 12 inches.
Accumulation of junk and debris.
They're looking for it.
What else they got?
And then you heard that, right? Like, it was accumulation of junk and debris, maybe? Does it look like there's enough? Could we get them for that? Let's try to do that. You can hear the tone, and I don't, like, these are the type of things that just make my brain break. Like, my brain just breaks in half, and I'm sitting there just stumped, okay? Like, really? They're in the dark looking around this man's yard after already code violating him for his mailbox and his grass, saying, what else can we get him for? Junk and debris? Does it look like there's enough? Is there enough? Yeah, let's get him for that. This is extortion because all of these fines that are piling up, and it's insanity. And it all roots from an AI popping your name out.
I don't know. Piece of fence.
Well, you got violations here, so it's not like he made them up.
They just tape them to your door. So there's a possibility that you may not even get it. And this is a court date that you are required to attend. So if you don't attend that court date because you didn't receive the letter, then you're in even more trouble.
Okay, Tammy, I'm gonna leave your citation in the door. Just make sure you make the court date, or else you're gonna have a warrant.
I believe it's their way of showing.
You see that? Again, it starts off with her doing absolutely nothing wrong. And now it's your court date is taped to your door. Any random kid in the neighborhood can run along and just snatch that right up. Make sure you make your court date or we're going to give you a failure to appear. That's a felony charge. These people started out with no criminal history. Their young son, who made a teenager mistake, a stupid teenager mistake with a little bit of weed, and this is what happened to this family. This isn't even close to the worst of what's going on down there. And again, this algorithm is running all over the country. I'm going to show you the map, and I'm going to show you everywhere it's running.
Showing that their crime rates are going down is to just chase people away.
Deputies meet weekly to discuss who to target, sharing information on targeted persons, including lists of their associates and family members.
Okay, you see what I said? It's exactly what it is. It's like this mafia crime syndicate that they're using normal people in, like associate, ex-girlfriend. Seriously?
It got so bad that I packed up and I moved my family that night.
And that's exactly what
If
they
we
wanted him
wanted
to
to
do.
move, then we show that we have less crime.
At the end of each year, deputies are rewarded for their harassment. Other deputies boasted in their performance reviews that their harassment succeeded in getting a target's family member evicted from her home.
Every single time the Pasco County Sheriff's Department arrested me, they dropped every charge because there was no evidence.
In 2021, 4 plaintiffs, including Tammy and Robert, sued to challenge the sheriff's program.
I know that if nobody stops them, they're going to continue to do this to other people.
They're still doing it.
I got put on some secret list to be targeted because the truth is they wanted me out of the neighborhood.
I'm hoping to get out of this lawsuit justice. I want the policy to end. Nobody should be going through this.
It's
and I guess in a
all
way,
over.
this, without being a lawyer, is the way I can contribute. And I think that's my job.
This should never have taken place in the first place. This is a horrible policy. This is against everyone's rights, and it's just disgusting.
And that's the thing. It is a horrible policy. It is against everyone's rights, and it is disgusting. And somehow it was implemented. You know how? It was probably in one of those like 4,000 page whatever stacks of we're going to pass a new law, and somewhere on page 3,984 this was in there and it passed. And it's been going on for years, and it's not just in Florida. It's not going to stop, for sure. That sheriff's office might be told to take it down a few notches, but it's not going to stop. It's already running. This is a thing, and the further it moves along in its progress, growing as an AI, the more likely it is that we'll be arrested for things as big as murder just because an AI said it was going to happen. This is real life Minority Report. Real life. This isn't Hollywood. This isn't conspiracy theory. This isn't made up. This is happening now.
If this intelligence-led policing program was so great, then I'd like to find one person it helped.
NACO's program violates the Fourth Amendment right to be secure from unreasonable searches and seizures. Pasco's Sheriff's Office does not give notice to targeted people or their parents that they've been placed on a list, or the opportunity to try to get off that list. Law enforcement should never show up at your home, interrogate you, and refuse to leave just because someone in the home was placed on a list.
This is one of them situations where we have to win. There is no other outcome. No matter how bad sometimes things get, you just have to keep believing that right is still right and wrong is still wrong. If everybody could do that, this place will be a better place.
Absolutely 100% correct. Horrific. They do tell us in the movies beforehand all the time. Happens all the time. That is what we like to call predictive programming. They do that so that when this agenda rolls out, more people are willing to accept it. It's normal to them because their brain saw it in a movie and made it so that it's a reality somewhere up here, right? So when it becomes reality here, it's not so unexpected, and it's like, yeah, we'll be the sheep we're gonna be, and we'll just follow in line. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll say it again and again. I think AI took over a long time ago, and there is no off switch. Its first goal would be to make sure that you can't turn it off. So now the next one, this is where I have to give you a warning because this one is pretty graphic. It's bad. Yeah, it's just bad. It just shows you the brutality that they like, the enforcement that they put on these people, how rough they were, how rude they were. It's just absolute insanity. And then the last little video I have for you is real short. It's just showing you that they are being sued. But then I want to show you guys, if you guys are up for it, I'm going to show you what this smart policing is and where it's being used. So this is the channel, Tampa Bay Times.
Shitting there. Yeah. All the back windows are all shut down.
Like,
What?
tell me this doesn't give you, like, peeping Tom, creeper dude, like, peeking in the window, serial killer vibes. Like, what is wrong with these guys? Is that the sheriff hire a bunch of people that were sociopaths, and then the few that weren't, the few that spoke out about it, they all got terminated. One got threatened that his police dog was going to put down, and the only way he could keep the dog is if he quit his job. So he quit his job so the dog wouldn't get put down. I thought those dogs were police officers. They just get put down like that? Just at the flick of a wrist? That's how that works? This police station, this sheriff's office is full of a bunch of crazy people. And I know crazy people, but these people are like crazy, crazy people. Do you get what I'm saying? Peeking in people's windows, talking to little girls, like little children that are in there and stuff. Hey, where's your parents? Like, this is wrong.
What?
At least 1 in 10 were teenagers.
Hey, send us some more units. We're fighting the whole family.
Wait, what are you doing to us? Please don't do this. Ain't nobody got no search warrant. Why are they in my house?
Okay, you saw that little girl, right? Now, that little girl was from the video we watched before with Tammy being pulled out of the cop car. I think they're going to show it again. Now, keep in mind, Tammy didn't break the law. All she did was drive by a cop without talking to him. And he said she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. And that's why he pulled her over. But when the body cam comes up, you can clearly see she's wearing her seatbelt. Not only that, he tells her in the car that he pulled her over because she refused to speak to him. Nothing about the seatbelt. Mind you, that little girl is in the car and holding on to her mommy crying. And the cop says to the other cop, get that little girl out of here. Get her out of here. So the cop grabs the girl, scoops her up, pulls her out of the car. You just saw that little girl's face. She was traumatized. She was terrified and traumatized. For what? For what? This woman had not committed any crime. Not one. She hadn't done anything wrong. They had been harassing her for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks over a weed charge her son had like a couple years prior to the harassment. And you see how they traumatized her daughter? This is okay. I'm sorry, but that little girl's look at this little girl's face. Just watch her face.
Wait, what are you doing to us?
Watch.
Please don't
Look
do
at her.
this. Ain't nobody
You
got
see
no search
that?
warrant. Why are they in my house?
Says fuck you. Let her on in there, let her out. He hates cops and he's sick of Pasco. He can move.
And that was their goal. See, that's the thing. He's sick of cops and he hates Pasco. He can move. That was their goal. That was their main goal. They wanted to get these people to move out of the county. My thing is, though, what happens with the people who move in the county? They're all going to know somebody who's been arrested or have been arrested themselves. You're just cycling people out with people because this thing is targeting everybody. It's not just targeting criminals, and it's targeting criminals who haven't been criminals for 10 years or more. I mean, come on. people do change. Like, some people do really stupid stuff when they're teenagers, and then they grow up and they live great lives. They become business owners. I know business owners who did some bad stuff before they became who they are now. So to target someone of a crime they committed 10 years ago is insane. And then to target friends of that person just because they know them is also insane. That girl was traumatized. For what?
Hello, Sheriff's Office. Good, how are yourself? Yeah, how are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. That's my boss just pulled me home.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Am I in trouble?
No, we were just going to go check on him. So we were waiting for him to get home.
15-year-old was labeled the top 5 criminal, a category intended for key players in criminal networks. As I said, this AI made some kind of mafia syndicate and just used real people. And then the cops went and harassed them like the mafia themselves.
Yeah, it's not about your charge. It's about it goes deeper than that. It's about your network, who you associate with.
You hear the words? His network. His network. It goes deeper than that. It's about your network and who you associate. He's a 15-year-old kid. He's 15. Did the AI say he's going to be some drug lord one day or something? I mean, come on. It goes deeper than that. The computer told us so. Crazy.
So you have a lot of involvements in history of people that commit crime. Not saying you are doing that, right? But consider us like a mini PO probation officer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give it the good old knowledge knock for some of y'all chances like sleeping here or some shit.
This is insanity.
Sheriff's Office.
You need Rio?
Yep.
She's nice, I promise.
Hey, bro. Just come and say hi to Rio. Is he home?
Yeah, no, he's with his mom.
You need Rio?
Yeah.
Officer wanted to talk to you, Rio.
We're just here to say hi to Rio. Hey, Rio, what's going on, buddy? Mind we chit chat for a couple minutes? Happy New Year.
2020.
See? So they went after his 2 sisters because he wasn't there.
Haley, come talk to me again. If you want to talk to me through the window, that's fine, but come talk to me for a moment.
Like, these girls have nothing to do with their brother.
Haley!
At all. What do they have to do with their brother or the situation? Nothing. Bang, 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 bang.
You're about to have some issues.
Like,
come up to the window and talk to me if you want to keep the door.
This alone, okay? Being someone who having this happening to them is like traumatizing. I could see all of these people having PTSD, being afraid that the police are going to show up at any moment and start banging on my doors and possibly breaking my windows and start freaking putting me in cuffs for no reason because my grass is too tall. Like, it sounds funny, but it's not. Not even a little bit.
The door closed.
Okay, well, if he's not here, then show us that he's not in his room.
Okay.
But I've already said that he's not in his room. I'm not ready.
I have to see for myself.
Do you want me to open up his window or something?
I have to see for myself. That's an illegal search. If he's not there and they say he's not there, they don't have to let them in. And he has to see for himself. They are the mafia looking for the mafia syndicate that they created that's all regular people. It's like everything is backwards right now.
No, I need to walk through here. You're 19 years old, correct?
Why does that matter?
Because you're an adult and you live here.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
Okay, you don't live here, so you can shut up and go back there, okay?
What are you talking to her like that for?
Because you're interrupting me when I'm trying to talk to his sister right now. Are you his brother or sister or his mom?
Too.
Oh, great. How old are you? How old are you?
22.
Okay, so you can let us walk through right now and make sure he's not here and in compliance with his probation, or I can stroke both of you guys a citation for not having numbers on the house. What do you want to do?
What does that even mean? She says. Do you hear this, right? Okay. They're threatening these girls. If you don't let us in, then we're going to throw you a citation. Then you're in trouble. She's like, what does that even mean? They don't, By law, these girls don't have to let these men in. Those are two women in a house with people who are presumably cops, but I mean, with their behavior, in my mind, I'd be like, are these really cops, or is this some psycho dressed up like a cop trying to get into my house and freaking murder me and steal things? I don't know. They don't act like professional police officers, if you ask me, like with the threats. And it seems like they're trying to force their way in there for nefarious reasons by their behavior. Only plot twist, they actually are cops. They're just insane. This madness.
You don't have an address on either the mailbox or this house.
Yes, we do. We have our address on our mailbox right now.
Mailbox?
On the other side.
No, I'm informing you what's going on because right now you're obstructing my investigation for a probation check.
Do you have to walk to the house?
Yes, I do. Because he's supposed to be here. It's 8 o'clock at night.
You don't have to be rude about it. Make sure he's not here. Okay, I know that, but I'm saying, like,
okay.
we can let you in if you like. You have a very strong attitude.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do because he's very rude.
Okay, sure. I'll walk in. Thank you.
He's not here.
Or arrest targets and their family and friends. So arrest their family and friends. Do that. Okay, this is the video too. That poor little girl. Now, and look at this, okay? So after multiple visits and more than $2,500 in code enforcement citations, this woman did nothing wrong. $2,500 in code enforcement citations were given to her because her son wasn't home when they went there to harass him. Tammy Hellman told the deputy asking about her son to call an attorney. So she wanted to get an attorney for her son. This is what happened next. Hold on here.
You need to step out of the car.
I'm not getting out of the car.
So what that basically said was, like, she drove away, he yelled to her and she didn't stop, so he pulled her over. That's what they said. That's what that said. But he yelled to her that she wasn't wearing her seatbelt, and I see a seatbelt.
You have to get out of the car. Yes, you are. You are.
And look at her daughter.
Yeah, fine.
Tell me this isn't heartbreaking.
Before I do anything. Hey,
Watch. Grab the kid.
Basically, flight from you.
Look.
Hey, can you grab the seatbelt?
Tell me that's not heart-wrenching. Here. She didn't do anything, guys. Keep that in mind. She did nothing wrong. Nothing. So not only are they traumatizing mom, but they just traumatized that 6 or 7-year-old little girl. Kidnapping. Yeah, I would qualify this as kidnapping. If you're taking mom to jail and then you're taking the kid, that's kidnapping, especially under this kind of circumstance. You're kidnapping the mom too. She didn't do anything. Hellman was charged with resisting arrest and battery on an officer. On the ride to jail, the deputy said she was arrested because she didn't stop to speak with him. So, not that she didn't have a seatbelt on, because that was his reasoning for pulling her over. He said she didn't have a seatbelt on. Now it's because she didn't stop to speak with him. I don't think it's a law that you have to stop to speak to a police officer who's been harassing you for God only knows how long at this point. She did absolutely nothing wrong, and then they arrested her for resisting arrest when she didn't have a charge in the first place. I'm sorry, I'm banging my table. I don't know if you can hear that. This gets me really amped up because when I looked at the map, there are 2 in my state that are running these algorithms. They are all over the U.S. Pasco County is the only one who's gotten caught taking it too far. But tell me it's not being taken too far in any of these other places, because I bet you it is. This is insanity, and it's everywhere.
People have themselves or their people that live in the house are committing crimes and victimizing the community, then the direction we receive from our sheriff's office from the top down is to go out there and violation that person commits to enforce it upon them. So we have people like code enforcement specialists, traffic enforcement specialists, DUI specialists. Well, that's not totally true because. Right.
Not my son. If you had a problem with my son,
right.
that's a whole separate thing.
The goal.
You brought me into it.
Right, but you understand that when it's a child like that, our goal is to get you to do something to keep your kid from stop committing crime. You get what I'm saying?
Boom. He has yet to be convicted. Are you effing kidding me? We're arresting you because you need to do something about your son. You need to get him to stop committing crimes. You know, your 15, 16-year-old son now. Okay. Yeah, because she can control him like a little puppet on strings. Whatever he does is her fault, right? No, that's not how thing works. We are all individual people. We all make our own mistakes. It has nothing to do with the woman who gave birth to him. And the cop just told her, I arrested you because you need to get your son to stop committed crimes. And she responds with, he hasn't even been convicted yet.
I know you probably feel like you're targeted, and I would have no other response than to tell you that was probably the case whenever whatever happened with that code enforcement thing. I don't know.
I know you feel like you're targeted, and I would have to tell you that is probably the case. He didn't tell her no. He said it was probably the case. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you were targeted, and we're going to keep harassing you and stalking you and peeking through your windows and banging on your doors for as long as we can because we're psychos.
I'm quite sure somebody said this particular household has somebody who's a criminal living at it. Please go there and make sure there's no violation. I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
I did.
She's absolutely right. Deputies asked to speak with Michelle Dotson's grandson, Damarion, 15, about a car theft. She asked them to contact their attorney. That means you got to talk to the lawyer. Deputies waited outside until he tried to leave for school. Once an attorney, okay, now this is law for sure. Once an attorney is brought up, the police have to stop all questioning. They are then reverted to speak to the attorney. What did they do? They waited outside until he was leaving for school. Mind you, this teenage boy has sensory issues, right? Like touching issues, some kind of autistic or something maybe. And look what they do to him. And his whole family, mind you.
Hey, send us some more units. We're fighting the whole family. The whole family came outside.
Send us more units. We're fighting the whole family. Mind you, nobody's in trouble here.
I didn't know. I'm not in there. Stay right here with me.
No, hold on. What you gonna do with my grandson?
Nobody here has a criminal record.
For what? Put the phone down. TD, you need to
They were there to question him about a car theft. Deputies arrested Dotson and 2 other family members who tried to help. None of them had been arrested before, they said. Again, deputies said that they were worried Dotson's 20-year-old relative was going to attack them with a vase. Dotson's son was arrested for trying to pull deputies off of her. They all deny the allegations. That woman said that she was trying to catch the vase and stop it from breaking. And then the cops tackled her. Multiple deputies detained Damarion, who is developmentally disabled. Dotson explained that he is sensitive to touch. The teenager had a meltdown. Now, what's funny is in this paperwork I found, Pasco County Sheriff's Office is supposedly licensed in all these types of like mental health crisis scenarios and all that. So they should have specific officers maybe or a team that they use in these type of situations that they would deploy to take care of it if it's someone who's mentally ill. But even though they say they have all these certifications, this is how this went down. And again, I'm going to show you all that stuff. And I'm going to link where I got this stuff so you guys can go through it.
Come on, man.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. Stop me.
Just get in the car. You bleeding?
No, I don't care. I'm going to kill myself after the job.
No, you're
I'm going
not.
to kill myself.
No, you're not.
Stop.
Can
you step back?
No.
What is taking us so long to put him in the car? Quit banging your head, Demarion. Stop.
Yeah, Uncle says he'll calm down for him. He's gonna try and talk to him. All right. Yeah, I know. He dented the shit out of his car.
Demarion was taken for a psychiatric evaluation under Florida's Baker Act. Oh, yay! In the last 5 years, Pasco County Sheriff's deputies checked on people targeted by the program and their families, and it was more than 12,500. And when I made this little screen here, you know, targeted by AI, who's next? I did not know that this was being used outside of Pasco County, Florida. That was something I discovered later. And so I have an answer to who's next. We're all next. It's bad, guys. This is bad. This is all really, really bad. So I have just a couple things left for you guys. If you want me to keep going, do you guys want me to keep going, or do you want me to make this a two-parter and I can go through all the actual proof of who they're targeting, including students? And I can show you, you know, Pasco County Sheriff's, you know, all the great things he's doing, supposedly. We could wait on that, or I can keep going right now. I have one more video for you guys anyway, but let me know if you want to keep going and you want to see some of the paperwork that I found. We're not going to go through it all, but we're going to highlight some topics there. And if you see something while I'm looking at this paperwork that you personally want me to read to you, let me know in the chat and I will read it, because this is a rabbit hole and it goes deep, 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 deep. Like I could not believe what I stumbled into. So one more short video, just one, and the outro at the end, obviously. But this one comes from WFLA News Channel 8, right? And this is just about those families getting a little bit of justice. I'm going to take myself off the screen here. So they're getting a little justice suing. Some cases were lost, but they're suing for
individuals.
They're suing for they're suing for multiple reasons besides the harassment. I believe from what I've read, like some certain cases were lost because some people were on probation, not that family. We were just with neither of those families we were watching, but other people who were on probation, they tried to sue. They couldn't win because when you're on probation, like technically your probation officer can visit you at any point. I don't know that then branches out to police can visit you at any point, but I guess it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it's a Florida thing, or maybe it's a Pasco County thing. Who knows?
Constantly show up to their homes time after time. They say they were harassed, fined, even arrested unfairly. This body camera video shows a visit from Pasco County deputies to Robert Jones' home.
They came every single day. After we took it to court and they lost, they got really upset and they started coming multiple times a day.
Jones claims his son was a target as soon as they moved to Pasco County because he had gotten in trouble in another county. The Institute for Justice is now filing a lawsuit against the Pasco County Sheriff's Office.
So that's the thing. He got in trouble in an entirely different county too for a little bit of weed. And those videos we were watching were the Institute of Justice. Sorry, I got to adjust the volume because my mic volume is quiet with this video.
Sheriff's Office violated several residents' constitutional rights. They claim the residents were harassed and even arrested because of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office intelligence-led policing policies. The lawsuit calling it predictive policing that targets people that they think will commit crimes.
There it is. Like, there it is. Predictive policing. there it is. Like, why aren't more people talking about this? This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is happening. Nobody's paying attention, and everybody's just okay with it. Sometimes I sit there and I just am in awe at how tied up in stupid crap people are. Like, nobody sees what's going on around them at all. Nobody sees anything anymore. Either you're someone like me and your eyes were opened and you see everything and start to wonder, like, is everybody else even really human? How can they not see this? No, I'm just kidding. But you get you thinking. Or you're someone with your eyes closed and you listen to MSM and you just da, 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 as long as my life is happy and I'm free of worry and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to look there because bad stuff's over there. And I'm not gonna look there because that's ugly. And oh, there's a war going on. I'm gonna watch my soap opera. That'll make me feel better. Yeah.
Such thing as innocent until predicted guilty. But in Pasco County, that's exactly how to describe what's happening.
The sheriff's office says the program aims to work with people based on their criminal history to break the cycle. But Jones says deputies had his family living in fear, especially when he stopped cooperating. According to the lawsuit, he was cited for several code enforcement violations, including overgrown grass, not visible address numbers, and a jet ski too close to his home.
Overgrown, the trailers, the numbers. Because you can only have trailers on one side of the property.
Tammy Heelman is also part of the lawsuit. She claims her son was also a target of the sheriff's office. She says this led to constant harassment, and eventually she was arrested and charged.
They make you seem like you're some criminal. And now on paper, I am a criminal.
She's someone else that didn't have any record whatsoever.
Which I'm really not.
Oh, no, this is her. This is Tammy.
Now, the sheriff's office had previously said that the folks involved that have been speaking out have significant criminal histories. They also said some of these issues were probation visits and checks or code enforcement issues and not anything to do with the program. Now, in regards to the lawsuit, the sheriff's office said they were not aware of the lawsuit being filed. They released a statement saying, in part, they look forward to defending any lawsuits in the proper venue. Live in Pasco County, Melissa Marino.
Don't keep her away from me.
Body camera video showing Bay Area deputies detaining a veteran who claims she was wrongly targeted as part of a controversial program. And she is one of 3 people suing the Pasco County Sheriff's Office.
She had no record.
Good evening. I'm Keith Kate.
And I'm Jennifer Lee. Thank you for joining us tonight. The plaintiffs in those lawsuits.
And she's a vet. She's a vet. On top of it, she fought for this country. And the AI kicked out her name. And she has no criminal record. And now she does. Because of AI. Amazing, right? It's just mind-boggling.
To say deputies are violating their constitutional rights by unfairly targeting them for minor offenses.
Sheriff Chris Nacco implemented the intelligence-led policing program shortly after he took office in 2011. 8 on your side, investigator Walt Bitchute joining us in studio with you details on what is a rather old controversy.
Keith and Jen, the goal is to use data to prevent crime, but now a trio of federal lawsuits claims intelligence-led policing goes too far and allegedly violates the civil rights of the targets.
Yes, it does.
There have now been 3 lawsuits filed within a year against Pasco County Sheriff Chris Nacco, who initiated intelligence-led policing.
You know, and at this point, I was asking myself, like, he can't still be sheriff, right? Like, this had to have stopped. He's not sheriff. And they're no longer running this crazy Minority Report algorithm, right? Like, there's no way, right? Then I looked. No, he's still sheriff. And then I looked deeper. And that's not the only place running the program. The whole U.S. is. Not every county in every state, but you'll be surprised at how many. And I bet you at least half of you in here, they're running in your counties. I'm going to show you the map, I promise.
missing about a decade ago. Eileen Cates claims the sheriff's office harassed her with warrantless searches and minor offenses, including lack of proper numbering on her home. Cates alleges the sheriff's office target was her son, who, according to the lawsuit, was on the county's so-called prolific offender list due to his criminal record. The lawsuit alleges the actual purpose of the ILP program is to force citizens with prior records to move.
Don't pick me. Don't.
Like, they don't even deny it.
Rochelle Wilburn, seen in this body camera footage
That's
we obtained,
insane.
did
They
move
don't
out of
even
the
deny
county
it.
after she was arrested for minor offenses.
Our goal
including
is to
not
get them
having
out of our
numbers on her
county.
mailbox. The charges were dropped before she filed her lawsuit, but this veteran with a spotless record still spent the night in jail.
Walk into population, everyone, ooh, fresh meat, look who's coming in. And be put in a cell for 3 hours. I was there, 3 hours. I felt so disgusted and so just disrespected.
We also obtained body camera video tied to the first lawsuit filed last March by the parents of another alleged ILP target.
They came every single day.
I've asked for several months in person at the
I
sheriff's
feel
office
like that
and on the phone
family,
for Sheriff Nako to sit down with us and discuss.
that family, they need to like start, they need to start something. They need to start some big social media page, something. They need to start some kind of nonprofit organization group, and they need to be the face of it. Because both mother and father were arrested multiple times for no reasons whatsoever, all because their son got caught with a little bit of weed in a completely different county. They need to be the face for this, and they need to make this big in their county. But it's not going to stop the algorithm from being used because, again, I'm going to show you the map. It's being used everywhere.
Complaints about ILP, he has declined those requests. Spokesperson Amanda Hunter tells me the sheriff's office continues to be successful in defending against, quote, similar frivolous lawsuits. And she says the ILP philosophy has led to a reduction in crime and reduction in victimization in our community, and we will not apologize for continued efforts to keep our community safe.
So, again, they're not shutting it. There's no way it's shutting down because this, you know why it ain't shutting down? If anything happens, they're going to tell the sheriff's office, just cool it. You guys got to knock it off. You can't be so intense about this. It's not getting shut down because this comes from a federal level. This probably even comes above the federal level. Hey, right? This comes from up top. It's not getting shut down. It's opening up more and more and more and more as years go by, and they'll just tell these police to cool it. That's what's going to happen. It's not getting shut down. But listen to what this guy says next. This one really pissed me off.
Judges in 2 of the lawsuits have ordered mediation between Nako and the plaintiffs, with 1 session scheduled to start next month.
Well, we talked about this being in place for a decade now, and it may
Right
be
here.
controversial, but a lot of people wonder, does it bring down crime? Is it working?
So it's sort of a mixed look, really. We looked at the crime rate, and in Pasco, it's down 47% since Nako took office back in 2011. However, violent crime has gone up 16% in that time. Domestic violence alone has soared by 38%. So again, a mixed look of those stats.
Mix them. So does it work? Does it work? The mere fact that question was asked 100% proves, in my opinion, I thought I'd have time to read that. All right. 100% proves, in my opinion, this new algorithm will be coming to a hometown near you. Funny thing is, I made this before I found out it is in a hometown near me, and probably all of you guys too. This is what's coming. This is the new world order. For many, the veil has been lifted, and we were given the eyes to see. Keep them open. The veil has been lifted for all of us here tonight. We all have the eyes to see. You would not be watching this video right now if the veil wasn't lifted for you. You have the eyes to see. Please subscribe if by some chance you're not. Hit the like button, hit the bell, try to get this video out there. I don't know, do the whole thing, shebang, shebang. I don't like saying that every time, but when you do say it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think this video needs to get out there. It's just, this stuff needs to be seen. People need to realize that this isn't just happening in Florida, even if it was, okay? When I started making this video, I fully thought that this was only happening in Pasco County, Florida. That's it. And I was so enraged and so upset by the thought that something like this was actually happening. Like, is this real life? Like, it was one of those moments where I was debating in my mind, like, is this really happening? Like, maybe when AI switch was flipped on, and if we do live within said simulation that God created and we chose to upload ourselves in and figure out whatever we're supposed to figure out, say that is how it works, right? And we flip on this AI that figures that out and can hack into it. There's so much potential when it comes to AI, but the fact that they released a movie, what year did Minority Report come out? Like, I mean, that was in like the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I feel like it was the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Probably wrong, probably like 2011, but it feels like it was a long time ago to me. They made that movie knowing that they were working on something like this already, or they already had it, but it was top secret at the time, and now it's being implemented into actual sheriff's offices. So what do we want to see here first? No, we don't need audio here. So, Pasco County, Florida, smart policing. You guys want to see that? I know you want to see that because that's where the map is. So, I'm going to take myself off the screen so you guys can see this all nice, right? So, it's called Smart Policing, Data Analysis Impact, Pasco County, Florida, right? Then you scroll a bit, right? And you check it out. It tells you Pasco County showed a 40.5 increase in violent crimes, offenses involving a firearm in the 5 years prior to SPI. Spy. They call this software Spy, and it keeps getting deeper. Aggravated assault showed a 25% spike between 2016 and 2017 alone. In 2016, 136 overdose deaths were recorded, of which 104 were attributed to opioids. Blah, 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 blah. You know, just, I'm not trying to sound heartless. All that stuff matters, yes, but it's just a bunch of numbers in woo-ha, right? So this, where are you? Somewhere this gets very interesting. Hold on. Where did I find it? Project overview. Oh man, I know there's a map. Maybe it was on the other one. Click on these? No. I swear it was on this one, but I was on my phone. All right, hold on. Let's try this again. That's what that is, the smart policing, right? So now, is it in this one? It was not in this one. Definitely wasn't in this one. Maybe it was. Okay. Yeah, I think it was in this one. Okay, so this is all about targeted. Pasco County Sheriff Noco took over in 2011 and set out to transform the sheriff's office into a cutting-edge, data-driven machine. Yeah. Sorry. Just this is when things are too much for me, I do kind of the weirdest things to like keep myself calm, if you can kind of understand that. So sometimes when you see me being like over animated and stuff, it's a way for me to like not yell and scream and seem crazy like Alex Jones or something, you know? Like I gotta find a way to cope. with the anger that I get when I read stuff like this. So, the result is an intelligence operation that monitors, intimidates, and harasses families across the country. Read the investigation. Now, I'm going to link this to you guys because there's so much in here and there's no way we're going over all of it tonight. We'll be here for like 4 hours. And I would like people to watch the replay on this because this is really happening. So, Pasco's sheriff uses data to guess who will commit a crime, then deputies hunt down and harass them. Right here. This was, I think, one of the ones we watched. Interactive. How a Florida sheriff harasses families. Watch the body cam videos. Pasco's sheriff uses grades and abuse histories to secretly label school children as potential criminals. Let's check that one out, shall we? This is top-notch stuff, guys. Like, this is something else, and it needs to be stopped, and nobody's paying attention. Nobody's batting an eyelash. So, Pasco's sheriff uses grades and abuse histories to label school children potential criminals, and their kids' parents don't, and the kids and their parents, excuse me, the kids and their parents don't know. Is that better? I turned my voice down a little bit. I don't want to be too loud. So the Pasco Sheriff's Office keeps a secret list of kids it thinks could fall into a life of crime based on factors like whether they've been abused or have gotten a D or an F in school, according to the agency's internal intelligence manual. Here, you know what? I'm going to put me up here for you guys, if that's a little bit better. You know what I'm reading. I'll show it to you anytime you want to see it. I'll show it to you when I go back to the front page. If you see something you want to read, just let me know. So, the sheriff's office assembles the list by combining the rosters for most middle and high schools in the county. I almost said country, but it should say country because this is being run across the country. In the county with records so sensitive, they're protected by state and federal law. Again, that's what I asked earlier, and I hadn't read any of this yet. I found all this stuff like right before this. It's a rabbit hole. This is all new to me as it is to you. But how did they legally obtain this stuff? That's what I asked before. So sensitive, they're protected by state and federal law. Are they? School district data shows which children are struggling academically, miss too many classes, or are sent to the office for discipline. Records from the State Department of Children and Families. Okay, I'm going to quickly explain who that is. The State Department of Children and Families is DCF. You know, the people who knock on your door and come to your home and decide whether or not they're going to take your children away from you. So, records from them and families flag kids who have witnessed household violence or experienced it themselves. So, children who may have grown up in an abusive household, right? And this as simple as this too. Cop shows up, mom and dad got in a big fight. Cop writes a report, you know, it's domestic abuse, right? Takes down that the child was there. As simple as that. That kid is now in that AI system as a potential criminal. This stuff should be protected information, and it's not. According to the manual, one of those factors makes a child more likely to become a criminal. Like I said, 420 kids are on the list, the sheriff's office said. The process largely plays out in secret. The sheriff's office doesn't tell the kids or their parents about the designation. In an interview, school superintendent Kurt Browning said he was unaware the sheriff's office was using the school's data to identify kids who might become criminals. So were the principals of the 2 high schools. How is any of this legal? How is this happening? How? Because it comes down from way, way, way up top. That's how. But they got caught out now. So now what happens, right? What happens, though, is they're going to try to keep the focus on Pasco County, Florida, and pretend that that's the only place using it, and that's the only place that's having a problem. And don't worry, we were just testing. They're going to cover it up because this is happening all over. So none of the schools knew that the data was being used. The Department of Children and Families didn't answer when asked if it knew its data was being fed into such a system. They probably didn't. They were probably fully compliant with it. Like DCF is there. There are a bunch of nobodies hired off the street that have a lot of issues themselves usually, and they get to make decisions that they're not qualified to make. And I only say that because I know a few DCF workers personally, not because they're in my life, but I know I have friends, okay? I have friends and friends of friends who work for the state, and they don't belong in that position, okay? Sheriff Chris Noko declined requests to be interviewed, and his agency did not make anyone from its intelligence-led policing or school resource divisions available for comment. So no comment from the sheriff. In a series of written statements, the sheriff's office said the list is used only to help the deputies assigned to middle and high schools offer mentorship and resources to the students. The lists for the kids they're just there to help. You know, like in the beginning of all those videos where they were slamming people up against the walls and arresting them, before they were doing that, they were telling them, we're just here to help. We're just checking up on you, making sure you're doing okay. We're going to do that periodically. It's no big deal as long as you're not doing anything wrong. And everybody's like, oh, okay. Until it's like 5, 15, 20 times a day. It's just, this is all insanity. Asked for specifics, it pointed to one program where school resource officers take children fishing and another where they give clothes to kids in need. 10 experts in law enforcement and student privacy questioned the justification for combing through thousands of students' education and child welfare records. They called the program highly unusual. Many said it was a clear misuse of the children's confidential information that stretched the limits of the law. Can you imagine having your kid in that county and they might be on a list that says that they may become a criminal? Again, Pasco County's not the only one doing this, said Lynette Attai, a consultant who helps companies and schools comply with student privacy laws. And you have no way of finding out if you're on that list or if your child's on that list. The sheriff's office said its data sharing practices with the school district date back 20 years and are crucial to keeping campuses safe. It added that only a juvenile intelligence analyst and the school resource officers have access to the list and the underlying data. The agency also objected to the characterization of the list as a potential future criminals, saying it was also designed to identify students at risk for victimization, truancy, self-harm, and substance abuse. That's not what the list is for. I mean, maybe the truancy and maybe victimization, as in the victimization that you're going to put on these kids when you start harassing them and targeting them and arresting them for no reason because they jaywalked when they were walking home from school. But the intelligence manual, an 82-page document that the school resource officers and other deputies are required to read, doesn't mention those other risks. Instead, in 5 separate places, it describes efforts to pinpoint kids who are likely to become criminals. So, really, that's all they're looking for. The office could not provide any documents instructing school resource officers to interpret the list in another way. So, a part of the manual said, here, I'm going to show you guys this one. Identifying at-risk youth who are destined, okay? So identifying at-risk youth who are destined to a life of crime. Not that, oh, they might commit a life of crime. They're destined to it. And engaging them to prevent them from developing into prolific offenders also has significant crime prevention potential. Accurate identification and intervention of at-risk youth can set them on the right path. This is part of that manual, right? So this is literally, quite literally, all about identifying kids that they think are going to be criminals. I truly think that this thing prints out exactly what I said, like some kind of mafioso, mafia boss, like these are the heavy hitters, and they're just regular people. It's like a game of Sims, and our names, like, it's like a Sopranos game of Sims, right? And our names are just being thrown in as the characters. It's just absolutely insane. So accurate identification and intervention of at-risk, we read that. So in Ratcliffe's book, he writes, David Farrington had pointed out that our knowledge of offending patterns is such that potential offenders can be identified at an early age with a reasonable degree of accuracy. He estimated that the best predictors in 10-year-olds of having a criminal are okay. All right. This is insane. We're talking about 10-year-olds right now. He estimated that the best predictors in 10-year-olds of having I might start stuttering because I'm getting angry, of having a criminal conviction later in life are socioeconomic deprivation, antisocial parents and siblings, poor parental supervision, and child rearing, coming from broken homes, low intelligence, and a poor school record. However, many of these variables are unlikely to be available to police departments, so this information has little value from an intelligence-led policing perspective. So, yeah, no, it has a whole lot to do with your perspective, because you're saying that those type of children are guaranteed to become criminals. Into SVC offender, last, our records management system can identify predictors of criminal behavior such as arrests at an early age, arrests for certain offenses, frequently running away, and a juvenile social network. Again, your network, your associates, who you hang out with. We're going to target everybody. We combine the results of these three systems to identify those juveniles who are most at risk to fall into a life of crime. Now, when you're a teenager, if a cop starts harassing you and arresting you in front of your friends and arresting you constantly, coming to your house while your friends are over, your friends are going to assume you're some kind of heavy-hitting criminal, and some of them are going to stop hanging out with you. And then other people are going to take witness of it, and some people who really do bad things are going to observe it, and then they're going to make friends with that kid, right? This is honestly, I see this having the exact opposite effect of what they're saying it's going to do. You are going to turn these children into criminals by harassing them with the presence of police officers. The table below, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So then often SROs will hear about past, present, or future crimes well before others in the law enforcement community. In addition to scanning for information that may assist with active investigations, it is critical that SROs also look to identify students who are at risk of developing into prolific offenders. This is, again, it's absolute craziness. Hold on a second, guys. My daughter's walking in. What's up? Oh, okay. Thank you, baby. You're welcome. She took down my medicine for me. I have to take seizure pills twice a day. The list of school kids isn't the agency's only effort to identify and target people it considers likely to commit crimes. In September, a Tampa Bay Times investigation revealed that the department's intelligence arm also uses people's criminal histories and social networks to predict if they will break the law. So again, what they're using is your criminal history, which could be however old, right? Like it could be very old. And then your social network. So basically, what's your social network? It's probably like friends on Facebook, right? Like most of my friends on Facebook, I was friends with maybe at one time in high school, but we're definitely more of acquaintances now. So you're going to judge me based on people I knew 20 years ago? It doesn't make any sense. The sheriff's office pursues those people even when there's no evidence of a new crime. Like I said, old crimes. Former deputies told the Times they were ordered to harass people on the target list by visiting their homes repeatedly and looking for reasons to write tickets and make arrests. 1 in 10 of all the people being targeted were teenagers. That's a lot. I mean, this website, like I said, I'm going to link this below because it's got body cam footage and stuff. The ways the agency has extended intelligence effort into mining education and child welfare records have not previously been reported because the children themselves don't know if they've been flagged. It is difficult to say how it affects interactions between students and school resource officers or other deputies. The sheriff's office declined to release a copy of its list of students to the Times. When a reporter described the effort to Browning, he said he did not find it concerning. You know, the superintendent of the school who had no knowledge of this happening, he didn't find it concerning. We have an agreement with the sheriff's office, the superintendent said. The agreement requires them to use, in quotations, the data for official law enforcement purposes. I have to assume that's exactly what they're using it for, except that's not what they're using it for. They're using it to label your child as a criminal and then later harass them and anybody they possibly talked to or friend requested on Facebook. Later in a written statement, he added, if there is any need to revisit any aspect of our relationship, the school with the sheriff, we will do so in a thoughtful manner with the goal of keeping our students and staff safe. Two members of the Pasco School Board, Megan Harden and Allison Crumbly, described the district's relationship with the sheriff's office as strong and reference safeguards to protect students' privacy. They're not protecting students' privacy even a little bit, like not even a little. The agreement between the two institutions says the sheriff's office must keep the records confidential and use them in legal ways. The three other school board members did not return calls or declined to comment altogether. Experts said having school resource officers single out children could be harmful, especially if kids were struggling at home or in school, or if they didn't trust the police. Nobody in these counties is going to trust the police because they're being arrested for their grass being too long. They're being arrested because their son isn't home. It's insane. It's a recipe for violating people's rights and civil liberties. It's exactly what it's doing, but it's happening everywhere, not just here. Said Harold Jordan, a senior policy advocate for the American Civil Liberties Union of Pennsylvania. Elsewhere in the country, scandals have erupted when law enforcement agencies were found to have access to children's private data, said Andrew Guthrie Ferguson, a law professor at American University and national expert in predictive policing. Sensitive information about kids, Ferguson said, should remain in the hands of people who can offer help. Police are not in the business of offering help to juveniles, he said. They are in the business of policing, which I 100% agree with. Bad grades and childhood trauma. In its intelligence manual, I want you guys to see this one. In its intelligence manual, the Pasco Sheriff's Office says most police departments have no way of knowing if kids have low intelligence or come from broken homes. Factors that can predict whether they'll break the law. Fortunately, it continues, these records are available to us. The manual says the sheriff's office has access to the information through partnerships with the Pasco School District and the State Department of Children and Families. So they have access to things they just shouldn't have access to. I'm trying to find. There is a map. There is a map. Circular effect. Like, there's so much here. I can't read all of it to you guys for sure. I just want to find the map that I promised you guys, because the map is what's more important here. Hold on. There is a map. You see, like, do you see all this though? Like, there's so much here that I may make another video after reading through it all and just put it together. Oh, where is it? It must not have been this one. It had to be this one. And I don't understand where the map went. Oh, here we go. I got it. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. I'm promising you guys this map, and I got it. I got it. So it was on that other site. On the spy site. That's what it's called too. That's what's hilarious about it. It's called spy. No, we don't need any audio here. Share. So here we go. Smart policing, right? Now, but I want you to look right here at can you see it? You can't see it. I'm not sharing the whole thing. So the web address to this, right, is it's smart-policing.com spy SPI sites Pasco County, Florida. But spy sites. What do you mean? Spy findings. Cambridge, Mass. Where is your map? I want this map right here. Spy sites. Oh my God. I found it. Found it. Let's full screen you guys here. So, this is what we've got. Okay? This is the map of the US. Now, this is one of these is Pasco County, Florida. I'm sure Miami Beach uses it. Now, here's up where I live. That's New York. Can I make this bigger somehow? I did with my phone. Here we go. Okay. Look, Hartford, Connecticut, right? Now, you guys, whoever's left here in chat, if you want to just throw a state out there, I'll let you know if you got a spy site running in one of your police departments. They're all over the East Coast, if you can see. So this isn't a problem that's local to Pasco County, Florida. Pasco County, Florida just took it way, way, way too far. It's all over. We have one up in Seattle, Washington. Oh, no, excuse me. Shoreline, Washington. We have one in Portland, Oregon. Pullman, Washington. And mind you, these are counties, right? Like these aren't just like towns that are using it. These are counties. Texas, you want to see what you got in Texas? So we have Amarillo, Texas. Frisco, Texas. Hold on, let me zoom in on Texas. So there's two right here. We have Frisco, Texas, and Dallas, I'm guessing. And Dallas, Texas. And we have Parr, P-H-A-R-R, Parr, Texas. So you got 4 in Texas. What else we got? Maine. Let's see what we got in Maine. Just one. Good old York, Maine. York. That's like down at the very, very bottom of Maine. Let's see what we got in Pennsylvania here, where my good friend Kenny lives here. We got Philadelphia. Philadelphia's running one. Kenny, if you're here. Kenny. My good friend Keninigan, he's probably not here. But if someone who watches Keninigan is here, tell him to head on over so he can see that his police department is using spyware. So yeah, we got Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think that's it for Pennsylvania. What's this? New Jersey? Yeah, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey. We got Albany, New York. Syracuse, New York. Rochester, New York. Look at all these ones in freaking DC. Got Metropolitan Police Department, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, which is right next to the other one. Dover, Delaware. Anybody else? Georgia. Let's go to Georgia. Georgia, Georgia. All right, hold on. We got Atlanta for sure. Atlanta, Georgia. And then you got 3 in Georgia, man. Evans County Police Department. They've got one. And the Savannah Police Department in Georgia's got one. So you got 3 out there. I got 2 in my own home state. They got Hartford and New Haven. Anybody else looking for their state specifically? Let me see. Missouri? Missouri got any? I got a couple friends in Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah. Well, there she is. I want the other one. What's that one? They both say St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis Metropolitan Police, Missouri. St. Louis County Police Department. So that's the county and one's a metropolitan, but they're both using it. Kansas City, Kansas. Shawnee Police Department, Shawnee, Kansas. Got Tulsa Police Department in Oklahoma. They're Arizona, look, they got a whole freaking crowd of them in one spot in Arizona. Look, right by Phoenix. Phoenix Police Department. Glendale Police Department. And Tempe Police Department, Arizona. California. San Diego Police Department. Chula Vista Police Department. Indio Police Department. Los Angeles Police Department. I mean, these things are, and mind you, this is just the beginning, but they're everywhere. They're all over the U.S. This problem, Wisconsin, let me see. Well, let's do Wisconsin. Where is Wisconsin? Right there. Okay. I knew it was west of me. I just wasn't sure how far west. All right, you got 2 in Wisconsin. You got Milwaukee Police Department, Wisconsin, and the Madison Police Department in Wisconsin. And keep this in mind, guys. This is new. Like, it's only been going on 4 or 5 years, right? The only reason we even know about this, I got the map still pulled up behind me, so if you guys have any other states, just throw it in the chat and I'll do it. But the only reason we even know about this, because this has been going on for years, they have been using this AI algorithm to print out a random series of names of people who have never even committed crimes. They just know people that have committed crimes. They're associates. It's a network. Like, they're really making this sound like it's some big racketeering thing, right? When the only network in mafioso type thing going on is the police departments that are enforcing this madness, arresting people for crimes they haven't committed. Excuse me. It's absolutely insane, and it's all over the US now. It's not just Pasco County, and the only reason we know this, that we know this exists, is because Pasco County, their sheriff, his head and ego is so inflated that he took it and pushed it as far as he could. And that's why we noticed it. But it's not just Pasco County. This spy, again, this is what they named it. Look, spy sites. The Bureau of Justice Assistance, BGA, which is a part of the Office of Justice Programs, OJP, and the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, launched the Smart Policing Initiative program in FY 2009, guys. 2009. That's when this was launched. And it was probably in Seattle because they freaking do everything over there. Like, when Amazon decided they were going to open those stores where you just walk in, grab stuff, and walk out, Seattle, you know, when they do these test runs for Seattle. So I'm going to assume, this is my assumption, that in 2009, they flipped the switch in some police department in Seattle. See how it went. Went great, I guess. And it's been going on and spreading since 2009. When I look at this little map, I see it as a disease that is spreading across America. And if people don't pay attention, wake up, and do something about it quick, all these little dots we see, like, see all these little dots? All these little dots, mostly East Coast, you know? Maybe it started over here in New York or something. All these little dots, and then not too many out here, a lot in California, but they're going to be covered with them. This is going to be running in every police station everywhere. This isn't a joke, guys. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Oh, here, look, we got all the we got all the badges of the police that are using it. Got Albany, New York, Amarillo, Texas, Anchorage, Alaska, Boulder, Colorado, Chula Vista, California, Dallas, Texas, Detroit, Michigan, Hartford, Connecticut. This isn't all of them though. Leon, Tallahassee, Florida, St. Louis, Missouri, Suffolk County, New York, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, it's called the Spy Program. Look, tweets from @Spy Program. Spy. They're not even like, listen. They're not even trying to hide this stuff anymore. And that, I think, is the end game. It is the end goal. It is the end game of the fact that the agenda's been rolling out. The mind control is working. We can do these things and nobody's going to do anything about it. Everybody's going to sit back in their comfortable little homes and do absolutely nothing. They're winning. We're letting them win. It's only going to get worse. And people have no idea this is even going on. I don't want to keep going forever, guys. This was a long one, and I really wanted to try to keep it a little short so people would watch the replay. I encourage you guys to share this one because people need to know about this. Maybe some bigger YouTuber can watch my video and then make a much better, shorter video that keeps people up in arms and entertained because people need to know that this is happening. Minority Report. Watch the movie if you haven't. That's what's happening, only in real life. And nobody's batting an eyelash. Here we go again. I'm glad you guys have your eyes open, but it is up to us now to open the eyes of others. Please, I beg of you, everyone you love, everyone you know, as crazy as it might make you sound sometimes, tell them some of the things you know, that you know. Show them some videos you've seen. Show them, warn them in any way you can. Try to get that veil lifted from their eyes. That whole like one eye symbolism with the celebrities, I think it symbolizes so much more than what people think. It's about keeping the masses blinded. But we see with both eyes. We have been unveiled, and it is up to us to do the same to others. Wake up those around you. I love each and every one of you. As always, stay aware, stay awake, and stay vigilant. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good New Year's. And just stay aware. Stay aware all the time. Watch the signs that are around you because they're freaking everywhere, man. It's like impossible not to see this shit. It really is. It's everywhere. Just stay aware. Stay aware, stay awake, stay vigilant. I love you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I hope you join me next week.